Afternoon to have U.S. Congressman Rodney Davis joining us as our keynote speaker. Congressman Davis understands the need for young people to be active citizens in their communities. The Congressman recently began serving his second term, representing the people of the 13th District of Illinois, a 14-county district covering both urban and rural areas of central and southwest Illinois. During his first term in Congress, Congressman Davis has established himself as an effective lawmaker who is able to work with his colleagues on both sides of the aisle to pass legislation. Serving on both the House Agriculture Committee and Transportation and Infrastructure Committee has allowed Congressman Davis to be a leader on issues essential to commerce in Illinois. Following the Congressman's address, there will be a short time for questions. Now please give a warm Illinois Jaycee welcome to U.S. Congressman Rodney Davis.
Very much. Now, who ate at Saputo's last night? Raise your hand. All right. I was sitting at the corner. You guys were in a little back room, a few of you. Yeah, I was sitting with my wife off to the side. Anybody get the breaded steak? Well, you missed out. You better go tonight. That's their specialty. Italian breaded filet. Yeah, Joe, it's awesome. So if you want pasta, you can get a side of pasta. The steak's the best. Get some Italian fries because you dump this garlic butter sauce over the top of it. You know what? If my wife would let me, I'd buy all those right now, but she won't. Why? Because my daughter has a prom tonight. And in the midst of, being this important person that I think I am, going to events, I had to go on a grocery run. In between the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's funeral procession and coming to talk to you, getting a list of what I was told to get. So the bottom line is, being a member of Congress really isn't much different than trying to hold down a job and do what the Jaycees want you to do to serve our communities. I have a privilege, I truly do. I make fun of Congress because I'm there. And trust me, I make fun of everyone that's there too. To their face. Because like any job, you have to have fun. And service is something that really binds every single member of Congress. I don't care if you're a Republican like me or the Democrats that I serve with and those that are in the Senate. Now, I will make fun of the Senate a little more because that truly is the most expensive senior center in America. And I know your national president is from the Baltimore area. She may be able to back me up on this. We have a saying on the House side that when you get to a certain spot of the Capitol, because the Senate's on the exact opposite side, you start to smell mothballs. You know you're getting close. And you all walk a little slower, and you bend over a little bit. Hey, you're in the Senate. It just happens naturally. But serving you in Washington, D.C., and serving this district. Anybody here from Springfield? Woo! Yeah. Woo! Me too. Just a little outside. But I serve this area. I serve downtown, right where you're sitting. And if you'd have told me a few years ago, before I even got ineligible to be a Jaycees junior member, and I'm 45 right now. When I was 40, if you'd have told me that I have the opportunity to come here and represent this great community in Washington, D.C., I would have laughed at you. I had no idea that I was going to one day run for a seat in Congress. But things happen. And it happened to me. And one thing that I try to talk to students about on a regular basis is how do you know what your true path, your true future is going to be? I will bet you during your time as a member of the Jaycees, many of you have changed careers. Many people change careers on a regular basis. Does that mean that they didn't have the foresight to know at first what they wanted to do in life? No, what it means is they grew into what is a new career, what is a new opportunity. And that's what's great about this country, is that we get the chance to take so many different opportunities. And we can sit back and complain about what we don't have in America, or we can stand up and appreciate what we take for granted here in America. And you see that often. When you join the Jaycees, it's just like me, probably nervous becoming a first-time candidate. I stepped out, raised my hand, said, I'm going to run. And then the next thing you know, I had people come up and go, yeah, great job, you're not going to win. And we all had that our whole lives. Grade school, junior high, high school. Hey, you want to do what? You want to play what position? Yeah, okay. Come back next year. But if you don't try, you never know what you can achieve. And if you don't believe that you have an opportunity to exceed expectations, you never will. Now, people will look at me and say, you're a member of Congress, about 10% approval rating nationwide. You're talking about exceeding expectations of what? That's supposed to be funny. Even you, man. That's supposed to be funny. What? I'm looking at you. Thank you. I didn't know if you could sleep with your eyes open. But I'm a parent. I told you I've got a prom tonight. I didn't know they were that much. I remember getting dressed, putting the tux on my mom, saying bye, walking out the door, and saying I'll see you tomorrow. Now it's kind of, it's a show. You got pictures. You got to socialize with the other parents. You got to mow your lawn. You got to do this. Man. Well, being a parent, I sometimes don't want my kids to fail. I coach football. I coach baseball. I see kids all the time that say, hey, coach, I want to do this. And you're like, we'll try. We'll try hard. So sometimes even as a coach and as a parent, I set expectations lower for my own children because I don't want them to be disappointed. I don't want them to disappoint themselves when they can't make it, when they can't succeed. And I stand here today as somebody who does that myself, and I ask you not to do that because I try hard not to. Because we learn so much more from failure and losses than we ever do from winning and success. Why? Number one, losing sucks. That's supposed to be funny too. So you don't want to lose again. But you learn how to win by fixing your mistakes. And then when you win, we fail to appreciate those victories as much as we should. I had an opportunity to sit on stage. I don't know if you walked around downtown. You saw that this was the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's funeral procession. His cross-country train ride back from Washington, D.C. to Springfield, Illinois, where he lays to rest. To be able to sit on that stage and hear the history, and see history reenacted, it makes us realize what type of country would we have been if Abraham Lincoln would have said, you know what, I'm too scared to lead. The guy lost 8 elections. I can think of so many people that have lost less than that I'm willing to name their names right now and make fun of them, but I won't do that. Abraham Lincoln believed in his leadership abilities enough so that he was able to continue in spite of complete failure 8 times in electoral politics. 8 times. But imagine what our country would be like today if Abraham Lincoln wouldn't have had the tenacity that he had to continue to fight the naysayers and those who kept doubting him and his abilities. Our country, as we know it today, would not exist. And we never know why God puts us in positions to be able to influence others, no matter what you do. Whether you work in a fast food restaurant like I grew up working, or whether you have the opportunity to walk the halls of Congress and serve in the same seat that Abraham Lincoln once served in for one term. We all have our inspirations that make us who we are and make us the public servant that you all are as part of Jaycees. But you look at me, you see some guy walk in a suit and tie. It's nice. Look good. Don't say, hey, thanks, man. Buy one, get 20 free. But you look at me and you say, this guy's a member of Congress. All the negative connotations that come with that. Immediately they're like, wow, this guy probably talks to that person. He probably talks to that person. I don't like him. And I like her. Well, the first 10 minutes that you got to know me, I hope you understand I talk to everybody. Because that's what our very country's about. If we don't work together to govern and to make progress, then we don't carry on Lincoln's legacy. And what he fought for, what so many men and women died for during the Civil War. It's about leadership. And it's leadership only comes when you take the opportunities that you don't realize you're being given on any given day. Nobody that saw me grow up in Taylorville, Illinois, where I still live, not Springfield, sorry. Taylorville, Illinois, small town of 12,000 people. Nobody thought that I'd one day walk the same halls of Congress that Abraham Lincoln, our forefathers, did. Now, when somebody likes you and say, yeah, we knew you had it in it. I even had teachers be like, oh, I never thought you. I don't mean either. But it's who you grow up with and around that make you the person you are. You wouldn't know that I come from a family where my mom was a high school dropout. Our members of Congress are always supposed to come from families of privilege, where we know our family tree. We know how we go back to the Revolutionary War. No. I go back to Des Moines, Iowa. And frankly, I don't really know much about my relatives after that. My mom dropped out of high school in the 60s. The reason she dropped out helped her study later so that my mom could get her GED. My mom couldn't write a lick. My dad walked into a brand new restaurant that opened when he was 16 years old in Des Moines, Iowa, called McDonald's. And never left. Because he had a dream. He had a dream that he was going to own one day. And from 1959, when he walked into that McDonald's, until 1977, he worked his way up. And then got a call that said, you have an opportunity to achieve your dream, but you got to move to Taylorville, Illinois to do it. And when he moved to Taylorville, Illinois, from Des Moines, Iowa, even as a 7-year-old like me, you understand the difference. It's a culture shock. Capital city, bigger than Springfield, sorry. Taylorville. They said, oh, your duplex isn't ready yet. We're going to stay at a motel. Oh, hotel. No, motel. No, hotel. Where's the pool? Don't have one. There's a car wash. A week later, I went to school scared to death as a second grader. And I'd made up my mind I wasn't going to talk to a single person in that class. Now you think I'm a lying politician, don't you? I wasn't going to talk to a single person in that class. Sat down at my desk, looked straight ahead, looked around the room, and I had a teacher who was doing her graduate student teaching come up, kneel down right next to me to welcome me. And everybody around me turned and started talking to me. Imagine if that teacher would have taken that opportunity to serve me as a student, who and where I would be today. Well, that same teacher, I rewarded her by giving her my children as students. And as I walked in a few years ago to a parent-teacher conference where she was the only teacher in the entire junior high that had to have both of my twin boys in the same class at the same time. And I walked into that parent-teacher conference with my wife, confident, very proud of my sons, and I looked up and I saw a rubber bloody hand hanging from the ceiling tile. And as any adult, parent, you would say, what is the connotation of that? Well, funny you ask, Rodney. Your son sits under it, and it's a constant reminder to him to raise his hand before he talks. I knew then that never again would my twin boys ever be in the same classroom again. And they're not. That teacher passed away honor to repay her by giving her a tribute on the House floor. She never knew the inspiration she was to me until I got elected. That's the type of service that you can provide to so many people, and you don't even know it. You don't even know the impact that you may have in the lives of people that you're working with every single day. Take each one of them, not for granted, but take each one of them as a potential to build somebody else's character into who they are for their future. Jaycees is a great organization. Jaycees is something that teaches us all the opportunity to give back. And I know it's frustrating at times to try and fit everything into a given day into 24 hours. Try being in Washington dealing with people, 434 other type A personalities who all think everybody should listen to them every single day, and working with them. But any job in any organization, when it becomes routine, that's your opportunity to really make a difference in someone's life. Take charge, make it happen, and do it. Because that teacher, my mom, my dad, and everybody around me made me who I am. And the goal of mine every single day is to make a difference in somebody else's lives. Imagine a world where we all can look at our children and know that their dreams are limited only by their imaginations. And when that day comes, we can sit back and say, we've added to the greatness of this great country. Thanks for what you do. Thanks for having me here today. I offered a Q&A, but I reserve the right to not answer questions and not laugh. Thank you.